Ever wanted to only A move in your life, never having to worry about microing your High Templars or your Tempest or your Mothership or any spellcasting unit ever again in your life, you've come to the right place, because this is the Harstem Hour on that. Hello everyone, welcome. If you've always wondered, hey, is it possible to win a game at a high level against Zerg with only A moving, then you've come to the right place, because today I'm gonna show you exactly how to win every single game that you want against Zerg with A moving. Now, I'm gonna show this using a couple of replays, two, and as a basis that we're using as a build order from which we work on, I'm gonna be using this video, or well, the supply challenge that I uploaded last week, which we're gonna be using that build order to go into whatever mid or late game that we wanna go into. I have one replay against Denver, one replay against Bly, so let's get it. Alright, to get started, of course, I want to be showing you guys a little bit of the unit movement, the early game scouting, that kind of stuff, making sure that you don't die. But once the first 6-7 minutes are over, from there on out, it's our turn to shine finally. I have figured out a way to win in the most skillless way possible against Zerg. No Templar. At least no Templar with Storm, no feedbacks, unless they get Vipers in the end, perhaps then we need some feedbacks, but up until that point, all we need is to A move, and do run-bys and A move, and more A moving. It's purely A moving here, guys, that's what we're here to do. So, first 7 minutes, now, the things we want to be paying attention to, of course, in the first 7 minutes, as we play this little build here that I did the supply challenge on, this the video I just linked earlier, is that you want to figure out, hey, is there a third base? Perhaps you want to be checking, hey, is there a lair on the way? So you can, a trick you can do is you can go to the edge of the creep, you can shade in, and then cancel it while still being able to see with your shade, hey, is this going to be a lair? You can also shade into his natural, see how many drones there are. It can give you a clue of if he's maybe link flooding you. Now, it's very important that you don't lose this adept and that you kill the Karak. These are, of course, the main two things. So just make sure you don't lose the adept, as that would be absolutely disastrous. You only have 3 adepts at the start, which is why it's so important to keep all of them alive. You put 1 in the wall, and then with 2 you defend the probe and your third base, so you don't need to send your oracle in case of some type of weird ling run by, because then you don't have anything in the wall, and it creates really weird situations, which is something we definitely don't want. So not the greatest start here for me. I need to warp in another unit, so we follow up with this robotics facility, get our 2 extra gases. I'm just gonna skip through this part, this is not too important. Forge Twilight. Now, with our oracles, we're constantly poking, trying to get some damage done. So we're flying in, and the way we want to fly in is we just want to, basically any angle is fine, we just don't want to get hit by queens, and we want to get some type of information with it as well. So going towards the natural or the third base are good locations to go initially. If you straight away fly to the main base, you might be missing that there's no drones in the natural, which if I would only see 3 drones at the natural now, I would just fly back home with my oracles, full wall, and throw down 2 batteries, right? These are things where you need to respond quickly, so always checking the natural hatchery first to see if there's some drones there. It's nice to do. Afterwards, you can go to the third, you can check drone counts, you can check gas counts, that kind of stuff, all right? That's what you want to be doing with the oracles. So you're scouting while harassing, because, of course, oracles are also meant for harassing. Now, you want to kind of, kite them together, or move them as one piece and then one shot. You don't want to have any like half shot drones like there's 3. All of these should have died. So far I've only gotten a single kill, so it's not absolutely brilliant, but I want to show you guys that it's not necessary to get a lot of damage done with this build, and you're still gonna be able to A move. So that's what's really important here, is that really this doesn't require any real skill. My opponent here was Denver. It's a game I played earlier today. It was about 6.6k MMR. That's somewhere around top 16 GM on Europe. Right? Denver's pretty good. So yeah, it should be possible to win with just A moving, is what I'm trying to say, basically. That's the message I'm getting across. Now, once your robotics facility finishes, you get your observer, and the way you want to send your observer, on this map it's not as much possible, but you want to send your observer on the path that is most likely to be taken by your opponent's roaches, if he gets any, or lynx, or whatever he could build to attack you early on. So you just rally it across the map. In this case, it was straight to the middle. I might be able to spot something here. And with your oracles, you also like to see what's going on, basically. Just making sure that you're not getting all-in. In case you're getting all-in, the course of action is, well, I always get a blind battery in my mineral line in general on my third base. Might want to get a battery over here, start immortal production, start cutting probes, don't get your gases, and just keep pumping out as many units as you can the moment you see an all-in or a heavy pressure coming towards you. With the super battery, it should be relatively easy to stop everything these days, especially on larger maps like Eternal Empire. Now, I get a couple of kills here with my oracles, and more importantly, also important, I get information that indeed gases are being taken on this base. I'm not aware how many gases there are in total. I'm only aware of 3. But by the drone count over here, the fact I haven't seen any other units produced yet, it's very easy for me to figure out, hey, this is not an all-in yet. Now, if you struggle a bit more with that, perhaps you want to throw a revelation on one of these hatcheries to figure it out. Then once your observer arrives, what you can do is you can put it on a rally path. So basically a spot where the units are going to come from once they get rallied from the hatchery. So this location is absolutely great. Even over here is fine. Most Zergs won't notice that there's something there. If they do, you can move it away or you can lose it. I usually don't care too much about that. So in this case, I see Baneling and Evo Chamber, but no real information on the major tech that he's doing. There's 2 tech paths here that Zerg can take. One is going to be Roach, the other is going to be Hydra. Hydra, of course, has 2 options. You can either play Hydra Bane or you can go into Hydra Lurker. Hydra Lurker is very uncommon and also quite crap. So I don't have a replay of that because no one at the highest level plays that. But I can explain to you guys what to do at the end of this or whatever. So we're just going to be covering Hydra Bane and Roach Bane for now. But the initial response to Hydra Lurker is the same as it would be to Hydra Bane. So I might give away some tips later on like if you see Lurkers now, this is what you want to do. But for now, let's just focus on Hydra Bane and Roach Bane, or a Ravager Ling Bane, whatever you want to call it. These are the 2 main things that Zergs do at the moment. The moment you see a Hydra, well, not the moment you see a Hydra, but the moment you see Hydras, you should realize, hey, there's Hydralis, and the plan is going to be Colossus. Now, okay, Kevin, for all your life you've been telling me how bad Colossi are in PvZ, and now you're telling me to build Colossi. How does this make any sense? Well, it makes sense because I'm the one that's telling you to do it. All the other people that told you to build Colossi before are wrong, and they didn't understand why you're supposed to build Colossi. You know, I can explain you exactly why to build Colossi. It's to fight the Hydras. You have the Archons to deal with all the other stuff. The thing is, you can't go straight into Colossus. First, you need to establish map dominance. Very important. Just like in the supply challenge, here I am moving out, hitting a little bit late, rough early game. And as I move out, this is after my +1 is basically when I make the decision. I want to know now, hey, is it Hydra or is it Roach? If it's Hydra, you throw down the Robo Bay and you get your +2 after. Of course, you get your third base as well, which could be defended by these or by whatever, really. I attack. Well, I shouldn't be able to do much because he lost very little workers. He was very, very prepared for this, so not absolutely brilliant. Now, I always tell everyone, the moment you can't kill, or you don't think you can kill or do some damage here, maybe cancel a 4th base, what you do is you put units into this prism. I said you put units into this prism, and you just idle it in a dead space. Alright? Just idle it in a dead space, and this is the dead space that I picked, because usually there's Hydras on the bottom here at my level. And then we're playing double Robo Colossi. Yes, double Robo Colossi. And our goal is going to be a +2, 3 Colossi push with lots of Archons, lots of, 3 Colossi, and some multitasking involved as well. So that's pretty cool. Now, you see, I'm really not gonna be doing all that much. I'm gonna keep adding more and more gateways, or at least I think I go up to 9 just in total. Maybe add 2 more later. After my +2 is done, or while my +2 is finishing up, I get a second forge, so I can start shield upgrades and +3 at the same time, as well as taking a very fast 5th base, because this army is impossible for the Zerg player to attack in. It's just not possible. They're all big units that benefit a lot from shield batteries. They have good range, so he can't really kite me away or anything. So this is the perfect setup for me to defend any type of attack from my opponent. So Hydra Bane's usual purpose is to attack. It's not going to be possible because I'm so insanely smart and I built Colossi with pure Archon, no Storm. Storm is for losers. Now, of course, we're also going to be... This is one thing that I always tell everyone as well. It's like, hey, the one thing that Banelings are really good against are Zealots. And if you have 10 Banelings, you're going to be able to kill 30 Zealots and you're going to be able to kill 5 Zealots, right? It doesn't matter, like they splash, they kill absolutely everything. So the play is to not get many Zealots together. Imagine if you have 30 Zealots here, then 10 Banelings here will do. Now if you have 10 Zealots here, you have 10 Zealots here and 10 Zealots here, all of a sudden he needs 30 Banelings to deal with these Zealots. So he's going to need a lot more supply, a lot more money to deal with those Zealots, and he's going to have more inefficient trades. Which means that whenever we want to be fighting, or we believe we're about to fight, we want to kind of pull his Baneling count or his supply count kind of apart. And people always say, well, my army might be really big with 50 supply with the Zealots. Yeah, that's fine, because if you split them up, he's going to need to send 10 supply over here. He's going to need to keep 10. Well, this is 12 supply over here. And then this army is a lot smaller. And, you know, you're just going to have a way easier fight, which is good. That's very good. It's very good. Splitting up armies usually is good for Protoss. Especially if it's Zealots. So, we have these run-bys being set up. They're not doing a lot of damage, which isn't even necessary, right? I don't really care how much damage they're doing. I just want to get... It's a way... People always be like, you just threw away 20 Zealots and all you really killed is like 10 workers. But I also managed to get an army that is more gas-based. Every second that goes by, I'm getting a more sophisticated army, so to speak. Like right now I have 10 Archons, I have 3 Colossi, I have 1 Sentry, which is... I mean, just going to use it for Guardian Shield. Told you guys no spellcasters, no micro. And the longer I keep sending Zealots away, the smaller the Zealot count is going to be in my army, right? Because my gas keeps growing. Gas is always the limiting factor for Protoss. So you're just going to get a bigger army, and you just kind of, whoop, you just A-move. Ideally, you have a prison with you, you have like 10, 12 gates. Like, I'm not even microing here, you know? I don't need it. Now, this trade, for you guys, maybe like, well, that looked pretty bad, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. We had a good trade economically speaking. He's going to need to... Well, this wasn't synced up, which was pretty bad. I didn't have a prison with me also, which was pretty bad. But he's going to need to rebuild a lot of Hydras and mainly Banelings. And our key units, the Colossi, are still alive. So honestly, it's not all that bad. As long as your supply stays kind of high. I have a lot of money in the bank because my income is so big. This is maybe a little bit over-eager, but... no, you just, once again, pop. Get your Archons out. How many gateways do I have at this point? 10 already. So I added a full gateway ever since the 7-minute mark. And then at this point, you just keep A-moving, keep going. You can wait for +3. You can wait for your +1 shields. But a lot of the time, what you just do is you send out a Zealot run-by and you attack with your main army at a different location. And you're just going to be able to win against this composition. Now, there's one little... asterisk that I want to put here, and that's the moment Vipers come out, sadly you're gonna need some Templar, even if it's only for feedback, but you're gonna need some Templar because there's no counter for Viper in this army. You just need to feedback them and not get your Colossi abducted. That's the only thing I have. But I mean, you guys are gonna complain about, oh, you should A-move only, but honestly none of your opponents are gonna be getting high, right? It's not very common at your level, so I'll do it even at my level, mate. Unless you're the... Well, actually, almost no Zergs get Hive. Why would you get Hive if you have the best mid-game in the world, right? But at least that was until I figured out that this is the best composition. It's just pure Archon, Sentry, Colossus, and this works perfectly fine against Hydra Bane. So you have some run-bys, you send some Zealots here, always keep a Prism with you, and just A-move your little life away. It's going to be the easiest wins you're going to get in your life. You're going to have a great time, you're going to make the Zergs rage, and you know, I like a lot of things in life. I like beer, I like cheese, I like having a good time with my friends, but there's one thing I enjoy more than all of that, and it's beating Zergs with nothing more than A-move. So let's hop into the next replay, that is against Bly, where I'll show how to deal with Ravager Link Bane. Stay tuned. Wow, game against Bly that I played in a tournament recently, actually. One of the better games I played in a tournament. And I mean, I play the same start. We can go over some of the key scouting moments once again. You see, I'm just bloody blahing my life away, just taking out these minerals. All is good. I like to keep my probe. Hey, come back over here, replay. I like to keep my probe out here to see the ling movement of the first 2 lings. Now, don't bother with this unless you're honestly high master or like high, I don't know, mid master or high diamond. Just do once you got everything down, you know. Once you can do that without floating 200-300 minerals, that's all gonna be good. All right, just try to take care of the build first. Build first. The rest is honestly kind of unimportant. You kind of get a scout in, and here I scout the drones. You see, okay, there's a lot of drones. I see a 3rd CC. Everything is good in the world. I don't give a crap anymore. Gonna go double gate, Nexus, and actually, I play Stalker this game. I didn't remember that. That's weird for me to play. I never play that stuff, but it's okay. Get the Nexus up. Did I kill one? No, I killed nothing, but I forced some spores, so that's also good. Thumbs up for me. Now, I'm gonna be getting Robo, or maybe I play Forged Twilight here. That's also possible. It doesn't really matter. Forged Twilight is a little more unsafe, but you get a slightly faster push. Robo first gives you more information because of the fast observer, and also the ability to spam out immortals way faster, which means you're gonna be safer. It's the safer option against the option that is frankly just a bit better. Get a couple of drones, blah blah blah. I check his 3rd base. I see no gases here, but I see a lot of drones. See a bunch of queens. I'm pretty happy with this. You know, I know for a fact he's not going to be moving out at this point. So just continue with my build order, get my gases. I even scout with a hallucination because I'm so afraid of Bly. You can do this, you don't have to. I scout the Baneling Nest. I have seen the Roach Warren as well. And people always ask me, hey, what do I do if they get a Roach Warren and a Hydra then, and they build all the buildings? Well, it doesn't really matter. They can get a Spire, they can get a Roach Warren, they can get a Hydralisk den. You don't really need to prepare for these things. The only thing you care about is what comes out of the axe. If he has a Spire, an Infestation Pit, and a Roach Warren, and 35 links pop, all you need to deal with is the links. You can get some... So, the one thing where that's not completely true is for Mutalisk. So, what you can do, if you're really afraid of Mutalisk all the time and you never seem to win against it, is that after you build all your gateways, which for me is at this point, you get a Phoenix and you get a battery per base, which is going to be absolutely in time for any type of Mutalisk from 3 base, even from most 2 base Mutalisk stuff, I think. You're just going to be completely fine. And if you have one Phoenix ready with a battery, that's already way better than not having a Phoenix and a battery ready. The moment you see the Mutalisk pop, then you continue with your Phoenix production. If you see a Spire, maybe you get a 2nd Phoenix or even a 3rd Phoenix. You know, if he invests 200 in a Spire, you can invest another 150, 100 into a Phoenix. So you'll get 2 Phoenixes in total. And if he doesn't use the Spire, well, that's great. He just wasted a bunch of money on something completely useless. So I do my already famous push out. Move in, kill some drones. Here I'm like, can I fight this? I'm not sure. I just go back. You see? A lot of people might have... if I look at this situation now, I'm like, perhaps I should have fought that. He's supply block, of course I didn't know that, but I have +1 done, he doesn't. He didn't even have road speed yet before. And I have a pretty sizable army, especially if I have my oracles here. I might just be able to win, but I think it's good to play a little bit conservative every now and then as well. Just... you know, sometimes it's good, especially if you're playing as someone that's way better than you and you smell some blood in the water. You might want to, you know, eat the guy. But sometimes you just got to be a conservative shark. And the blood in the water actually was a trick by the humans to catch you. And just like that, you're shark fin soup. You don't want to become that shark. So just be a little bit careful, all right? And here comes the thing, which is really the meat and potatoes of this build, and that's the 2nd forge. Against Roach, Ling, Bane, Ravager, whatever, you get a 2nd forge together with your +2. So you're gonna get very fast extra upgrades. Also, you start immortal production after you've given up on this push. Not before. People be like, oh, I push out, I'll start my immortals for the transition. No. After you realize you can't kill, you still have so much time to get out immortals that you don't need to rush them out. You can chrono boost them after, but you don't need to rush them. It's because if they're playing Roach, Ravager, Ling, Bane, they have nothing to clear this thing. Your Prism can go wherever the hell it wants, and you want it in a good position for a counterattack. if they don't have any anti-air, which you don't have with Ravagerling Bane, your 2 oracles are key in killing Ravagers. If this guy decides to move across the map right now, guess what? He's going to lose every single Ravager before he even gets to see my 4th base. Which I think incidentally might actually be what he tries to do. It's like I think he goes for a move out. And it's like, ooh, let me have a look at it first. Do I lose it? No. I would have been a bit upset with myself. And then, yeah. Oh, good job, buddy. Now you're just going to lose a Ravager. Maybe even 2. Maybe even 3. I think he gets a transfuse. No. 3 Rav. See? This is what you do. And my Prism is definitely over here. It didn't go home with my army. Like an idiot. Wait, where's my Prism? Oh, it's already in the main. Man, I'm so smart. You see that? Absolutely brilliant. Now, losing the Prism is less brilliant, and some people might even call it idiotic. There's a couple of things this Prism did for me. First of all, it got him off my back, so it gave me an easy time to establish this base. It also gave me scouting information. I saw the spire. You know, that's usually quite nice to know. And as a result, I can, you know, maybe add a cannon per base. I can probably get some... I actually should have started my shield upgrade already here. Oh, here we go. Oh my God. I'm playing very well this game, guys. Yeah, a little emotional. It's very rare that I actually have ideas and then execute them properly. Usually I just have ideas and then just bump into a wall with my charge loss or something like that. But here, A-class. So you see, actually start a second Phoenix just because I've seen the Spire. Nothing else. I start a couple of cannons. I have plenty of cash anyway. I don't give a crap. And I'm just kind of sharking on the map, you know. Just maybe I'll clear some creep. Maybe I'll do this. But I'm not really engaging until I feel confident enough that I can 100% win a fight. Now, this was I was a little bit out of position here, which isn't great, but you know, some quick pullbacks, pop, pop, pop. All good. Another thing, by the way, that the Prism does is that whenever he does build Mutas, is usually the Mutas first show themselves to the Prism because they want to clear that Prism real fast, you know. And if they don't show themselves to the Prism, you still have a Prism there that can maybe do some harass. So it's really good to keep the Prism alive for a multitude of reasons. As I say that, of course, you're going to continue upgrading, which is really important. And you see, I'm increasing my important unit count here. It's Immortals, Archons, and 1 Sentry. My Zealots, they are the least important units. Ideally, I'd be sending them away for little run-bys, doing... Hello? What's this? Okay. Yeah, just send them away, basically. Oh! Okay, yeah. This is actually the... If you're feeling very good about the game, this is something you can do. And this is something you need to do against Ravagerling Bane. But most of the time I only do it when I'm maxed on good units. I still have a lot of charge slots here. I start splitting my army in 2 parts. Which is, in this case, 6 Archons. Like good Archon counts on both sides. And preferably 1 or 2 Immortals on both sides as well. And then get a couple of Zealots there. Preferably 1 Prism per side as well. And Zerg can't fight efficiently against 2 massive armies like this. I don't know quite why, but for whatever reason, Zergs can't fight efficiently against it. It's just not possible. Whenever you get +2 shield upgrades and you have +2, this kind of stuff, with good Archon or Immortal count, is impossible for Zerg to deal with, no matter what they do. So you just start splitting up, and look how clueless he is. Like, oh, there's Archons here, oh, there's units here, and then bang, bang, bang. He just dies. There's nothing he can do. He has a weird run by as well, but even if that was at home, it wouldn't have helped. And once again, quick A move, and you just completely clean up this guy. Absolutely beautiful, I tell you that much. And he never ever dared using, or could even use, his Spire. Because Mutalisk at any point, they would have been more of a... Like, I was prepared for them, let's not forget about that. I invested heavily into Muta defense, is what... Blah, 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 blah. I made like 8 buildings, 3 Phoenixes, like over 1,300 minerals just for Mutas. I still managed to win very easily because I knew if he builds Mutas, I can just defend and sit back, and if he doesn't build Mutas, then he's just gonna die eventually because I have the perfect A-move army with better upgrades than he will ever have. You see, +2 shields. I actually rarely lose with this style if I get into a good mid-game. That sounds a little bit broken, and it is. And we should be abusing it as much as we can. It's very, very rare that Protoss actually has a good composition in any part of the game, in any of the matchups. So I urge all of you to try this out. I forgot to talk about the Lurker. So against Lurker, when you open with your Colossi stuff, what you do is, after you see the Lurkers, you transition into Mass Immortal from your 2 Robos. And eventually you split up your 2 armies as well. Many upgrades. You keep flying in with prisms and trying to do harass. Lurkers are pretty bad when split up to defend with 2 parts. Usually you can rotate in such a way that one base is going to be vulnerable to at least one of the armies. Otherwise you can flank one of the armies very easily on a lot of maps as well. So that's something you got to keep in mind. I have some videos from the How Do I Beat This series which deal with how to deal with lurkers. Against lurkers, if you want, eventually you can go into Storm, but I mean, this is the A-move show, boys. We don't actually need to do that. We're going to A-move to victory. I want all of you to tell me in the comments how much you've been enjoying playing this style, if you actually do play it, and tell me how angry the Zergs have gotten. Send me some screenshots of angry Zergs to me on Twitter, HarstemSC2. That would absolutely make my day. But for now, that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching. This is where you click to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which helps me out a lot. Then there's the Patreon, which also helps me out a lot. Twitter to send angry screenshots to, and Twitch, where I stream almost every day. Thanks all for watching, and bye bye.